And we're back, and you are listening to Villiancast, BJJ Anti-Heroes, with myself, Chris the Villain Paynes. Weekly podcast featuring either my fellow black belt Naki Arshad on our show Reap the Week, or compelling interviews with other personalities across Jiu-Jitsu. But first, a quick thank you to our members at In Theory BJJ, Concept-Driven Jiu-Jitsu, for fight commentary, technique and concept videos, private coaching, monthly webinars and Q&A sessions. Please visit www.patreon.com/InTheoryBJJ. This is a podcast on the road. We are in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. If you're American, you made in a map. And I'm with Raoul, who's my brother, essentially. Raoul Audhoe. Audhoe. I say I got it mostly right at that time. This could go horrendously wrong. If it sounds awful on the recording, then I do apologize. But yeah, I'm out in Amsterdam, and he's a very interesting man. But yes, sir, if you'd like to introduce yourself and how the hell you got here.
Well, my name's Raoul. I was born in Suriname. My mom moved here when I was 5, and now I'm here. And then somewhere along the way, I got interested in MMA and Jiu-Jitsu and got my ass kicked a lot. Don't know why, but I stuck around, kept doing it, and now we're here.
So how long have you been training for? Because I think this caught me off guard when you first told me. You've been training a long time.
Well, let's see. I'm close to 39. Got my first MMA fight when I was 17 years old. So that's a long time.
Dude. So...
But I got my first MMA fight with only 6 months of training, because I did 6 months of Kung Fu, and I did like one MMA class a week for like a few months. And then I thought I could beat everybody up, and I actually took a fight then.
So you went into an MMA fight
yeah.
21, 22 years ago.
Yeah.
With Kung Fu as your main
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't even know this story.
Well, this is how I got into grappling, because I thought I could beat everybody up with my Kung Fu. And there was this guy, a kickboxer, who transitioned to MMA. And basically what he taught was sprawl and brawl. He just used this kickbox. He taught us a sprawl. He taught us like a rear naked choke, and that's it. And I thought, if I just know how to defend the takedown and I just use my Kung Fu for the rest, I'll beat everybody up. This MMA shit is nonsense. That's what I thought. But yeah, it didn't work out that way. I got my ass beat. I just came in the first match. I remember because I did Wing Chun, so I thought I'm gonna chain punch him to death, and I punch, and I connect. But he wasn't phased. He just double legged me, picked me up very slowly, threw me on the ground, and I don't know. I just squirmed the rest of the match there, and that was it. I lost, and then I thought maybe there's something to this floor karate ground stuff after all. So that's when I started researching it, and here we are.
Is there any footage of this? Because I hope.
Oh yeah, there is.
I hope there's like. Did you go out in like a Kung Fu outfit and then get changed like Matt's? Because I hope to God if you got in like with like one of those white suits like Bruce Lee style, like walking to the mat side. Or was that how like GSP used to come out in like a gi and like a headband?
Yeah. No, I didn't have a Kung Fu outfit on. But yeah, I was not past doing that, but there were like clothing requirements. You had to wear shorts and no t-shirt and stuff like that. Otherwise, I would have definitely come out with the full Kung Fu outfit, man.
Kung Fu slippers and everything.
Yeah.
If I was a Dutch kickboxer standing in that ring seeing a 17-year-old Raoul in a Kung Fu outfit, I'd have gone like, oh shit, I'm getting paid today.
Yeah, that didn't work out well. That didn't work out well at all. So yeah, that's funny.
So 21 years ago, you realized that maybe Kung Fu isn't the route to a successful MMA career. And what was your first inkling into grappling then?
Well, then after I got my ass kicked, I started researching a lot, and I watched a lot of fights. And I watched the Japan Valetudo, where Hickson made it to the final and won. Mm-hmm. But in that match, in that tournament, he also fought Yuki Nakai.
Yes.
And he's a big man in Shuto. I think he's the president of the Japan Shuto Association now. But I saw him fight Hickson, and I know he lost in the final, but somewhere along the way he got his eye poked.
Yes.
By, I think it was by Gerard Godot. And he still fought his way through and made it to the final and got his ass kicked by Hickson in the end. But I thought, because back in the day, you didn't have that many Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu schools. And I did know there was a Shuto gym. And I'm like, wait a minute, second in that tournament against Hickson is good enough for me. So I went like, wait a minute. I think I saw this pamphlet or poster for the Shuto gym. And I went and I looked and I'm like, oh, this was basically MMA. And that's where I met Rafles, my first MMA coach, who owns
yeah, of course.
owns Amsterdam Training Center. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, obviously, Yuki Nakai, like, famous just from that instance, like, you know, he's blind in the eye, isn't he?
Yeah, he's blind in one eye, but he kept it secret because he thought if I tell people that I got blinded, they're probably gonna crack down on the sport. MMA was in its infancy then, so yeah.
The Bisping method.
Indeed, the Bisping method.
Before it became the Bisping method.
Before it became the Bisping method.
So, because I met you when you were still 10th Planet, and I remember when you first asked me to come along to the first 10th Planet camp, and I saw the names that you were booking in those days. So I was like, damn, this guy has connections.
Yeah, I know people who know people.
Yeah, you know people who know people who know people. I don't want to make this an advert for 10th Planet Amsterdam, but you like those camps. Like, what name? You had all the names across. Like,
yeah. And after that, we went on with Whoopass Camps. But yeah, sometimes I have big names. Yeah, like it's a part stems from my old MMA coach. Like for instance, like getting Imanari over here is not that hard. No, it's really not. We could have gotten Shinya Aoki if we wanted and stuff.
Dude.
Yeah. Well, like he's pretty connected, like throughout Japan. If you want to get like all those big old names from Japan, you could get Rumina Sato, Kid Yamamoto. It's all possible. So that's like I said, I know people who know people, in that sense. And then the rest is just again, I know people who know people. Like if I talk to my friend Corey up at previously 10th Planet Montreal, now 10th Planet Calgary. Hi, Corey. He's cool, very good friends with Brianna Stemarie, with Dante Leon. So, yeah. And he's very well connected in North America. So if I just... He hooked me up with Wagner. So I got Wagner Rocha in one camp because he's friends with Wagner. So there, I know people who know people. That's how it goes.
I think that's like... I think the camp maybe before I first came down.
Yeah.
I think that was when Corey was here. I think Imanari and Ross.
Yeah.
Nichols on that first one. But I think before that you had like, was it Jean-Jacques was here? And
yeah, that's because we were. I was a 10th Planet back in the day, and then that is one thing that's easy about 10th Planet. You can just make like 2 calls, and you can get like all of the
big names.
The big names.
There was like 8 on that.
Gio Martinez, Boogie. You can get all of them. Yeah, and like Elvira, who's an ADCC medalist, Elvira Karpinen. Like I know her and her husband. So
yeah, because when you first asked me to come out and I saw Imanari was on the same list, I may have danced. Like, because you just said like Aoki. Like, I remember being a 1 year, 6 month white belt because I used to watch the old footage of Pride or Dream. And watching Imanari, like clips of Imanari and learning the Imanari roll, and even like when the first Scramble released the first rainbow-colored spats, I was like, oh my god, I get to look like Aoki now. So like, I was a massive fan of both of those, and so for you to like say, oh yeah, come out to this and like Imanari's on it, I was like, what?
Yeah,
that was unreal. And so it blew my mind that I'd never seen stacked cards like that, stacked seminar lists that you were putting out over here. And again, I'm not turning this into... Okay, maybe I'm turning it into a little bit of an advert because you run the Whoopass Camps where you always get someone huge.
Yeah, Mateus we had the last time. It was pretty big.
Yeah, like, I think Szczecinski gave you a bit of a
humbling.
a bit of a run around. And so, okay, I know why it's called Whoopass, but where did the name come from?
So, Whoopass Camp, I had an idea. I'm like, what's a cool theme for a camp? And I just went, well, anybody that's ever whooped my ass badly in competition or rolling that I got like really embarrassed, I'm just gonna invite them over to whoop my ass again. And that's why it's called Whoopass Camp. So that's why you were, that's good that you got invited. You came, you whooped my ass, so then you get invited back again. That's how it works. So yeah, but I have to be honest, like the first time I invited you over, it was like during the pandemic, during COVID. And we had a lot of American people on the list, but they couldn't fly over. And it was like, are we going to cancel it or are we going to make something different? I'm like, fuck it, let's do something different. And I was like, I'm just going to, I asked Priit to come. And I'm like, yeah. And just literally what I told Priit. I'm like, yo, Priit, think your boy is down to come? He looked at me in a strange, like, what do you mean? Like, Chris, he's your boy, right? It's like, what do you mean? Like, never mind, I'll just ask him.
So, this is what, again, we were talking just before we started recording about how I have How to Defend Everything, and it's hit best part of 90,000 views now, and it's more than anything Priit Mikhelson's ever recorded. And then that was always quite funny for me, and then you did the same, where you had that clip of you beating, was it 7 black belts in competition as a brown belt?
No, it wasn't all black belts. I think there was a purple belt among there also. But the first few were black belts because I went, I did the advanced division, but also the absolute, and absolute is all levels mixed. Like, I didn't know their level at the time. I was just like, this seems fun, you know. I've been doing this turtle stuff now. What Priit's been preaching for a while, and I'm like, yeah, let's give it a go and let's just try it.
So essentially, if you haven't seen this video yet, please look it up. It's Raoul just using turtle to leg lock people repeatedly in this advanced division. And that then pulled in more views than Priit's ever found either. So he looks at both of us like, so obviously I got my black, this is what I also, again, I guess I find interesting is that because of what I was saying in How to Defend Everything, people consider me Priit's student, despite the fact that I'd only had Priit to the UK maybe 4 or 5 times before I got my black belt. So the 10 years prior to that, like, I was not his student. And most of what I do is okay, you know, conceptually, I stole a lot from Priit about defending, and maybe I explain it in a non-Estonian way. But the rest of it, it's mine, baby. And then yourself, like I said, you've been training for 21 years. You've known Priit for about 4 of them. And so people look at you like, oh, Priit's student here using Priit's turtle to like go and heel hook everyone. Like, no, he's done a lot of like other things to get to where he is.
Yeah, that's kind of funny that you mention it that way. Like, I met Priit in the like November or December. Well, I saw him somewhere else in 2017 before, but I didn't pay any attention.
Why would you?
Like, who is this fat guy from a country I don't know? He's gonna tell me something about you, like whatever. But then I met him in 2018 in the Netherlands in a gym in Herugewaard, because one of my students, he was training no-gi with me, and he was training gi in a gym in Herugewaard, which is a city in north of the Netherlands. And he said, yeah, you should go. There's this guy from Estonia. He has this something called grilled chicken, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and then I looked at the picture. I'm like, I just looking at him, I think my guard's better than his. What is he going to tell me? He's like, no, you should really go. It's good. And I went. And it was a surprisingly well-organized seminar for me then, yeah? It was a well-organized seminar, and it was set up in a way that if you already had a guard, the things he taught you would dramatically increase your efficiency. And I'm like, wow, just for off a like 3-hour seminar, because I always did certain things, but I didn't know why I did them. And it was good, but I didn't know why it was good. And when it failed, I didn't know why it failed. And he gave me like the ABCs, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. So I started playing with that, and then it clicked. Like, if he's right about this, maybe he's right about the other stuff. Because I saw his stuff, and I just found it weird. Like, why would Running Man? Why would the hell would I lay down like that? It didn't make any sense to me. But then I thought, he lured me in with the guard stuff. And I'm like, all right, let's see. And then he said, yeah, you should also do turtle for a late stage guard recovery. Like if you do get past, you turtle and you recover guard. I'm like, all right, that makes sense. And that's how he slowly lured me in. And I did one of his seminars, and then he had another one in the Netherlands, and I'm like, you know what, this seemed, and he had some back defense stuff, and I'm like, this seems good. And at that time, I was still getting like offers for invitationals and stuff. So I had an invitational in Pennsylvania, and I'm like, and some smaller matches before that in Canada, and I'm like, fuck it, let's do my training camp there. So I just texted him like, can I come to Estonia to train? And he's like, yeah, sure, you're not gonna show up, so yeah, fine, you can come. I'm like, okay. And then I just showed up at the doorstep. I'm like, hi, remember me? I'm Raoul. I met you in the Netherlands. I'm here to train. And he was like, oh, you showed up. Shit. And then, yeah. And then I trained there. And I had my fights, and I won. I did pretty well. Lost one, won the rest. And I gave him credits. You know, thank you, Priit, because I actually survived with a huge guy on my back for like 6 minutes. Wasn't perfectly executed, the stuff he thought, but it did help me. So, and I guess we became kind of friendly after that. And I knew when he gave seminars in Leuven or some other places I visited. And at a certain point, I invited him over to my gym to teach some seminars. And it all went well. And slowly, I got more immersed in what he did. And yeah, when I was in Estonia, he actually said, like, at that time, he said, your attacks are black belt level, but your defense is shit. So once you get put on the defensive, you're like a 4-stripe white belt.
Dude, he bullied me the same way.
Yeah.
I'm lying on the floor. You know, I was already competing at like advanced levels, like I said in the UK at purple belt, and then he, like I said, he fucked me up in Copenhagen 2017, and I was like, what am I doing wrong? He goes, oh, you leave your elbows out. I was like, you couldn't say anything worse to me, like, oh, you leave your elbows out like a white belt. I'm like, no, I don't. Like, I know what I'm doing. I really do. I guess that's also, you know. So did you roll with him those first camps, like when you first went to meet him, like the first seminars?
That first seminar he did in the Netherlands, I actually didn't roll with him.
Okay.
In Leuven, but his instruction I liked. In Leuven, I rolled with him a bit. And then later on, at other seminars, also at other places I rolled with him.
How did the rolls go?
Well, I noticed that he could like bully me and then do nothing. Like, he just shuts down, and then I'm constantly attacking, nothing worked, and then somehow I ended up on bottom and I got Kimura'd. And after that, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna hunt your legs, and that worked okay for a bit. But yeah, it was hard in the beginning, because if he really wants to shut down and do nothing, I'm not a patient person. So then I start to overcommit, and then indeed I leave my elbows out and I just get hold down like a noob. So
I think that's, again, it's funny that, because we both obviously know him quite well, and I guess as it goes into wider conversation about YouTube, because again, it was one of the conversations we had just before we started recording, is that people watch his stuff and just think he's a defensive guy, and we're like, no, he's quite a violent man. Like, he can really hurt you. And then same with what I do. Like, I get confused for being a solely defensive as well, because that was the main video that ever came out. I'm like, I have a horrendous ankle lock. Like,
oh, I know.
I am an unfriendly man when it comes to ankle locks.
Yeah.
Like, that's my thing. I'm a leg locker-ish. Not as good as yourself, but I have a horrible ankle lock.
Oh, you have a monster. That ankle lock has traumatized me.
I know. Dude, like, you're the only person I roll with that has PTSD from shit I've done to them.
Yeah.
And then, same with what you said about, so that your video, like we referenced, is it got big. Like, just below Defend Everything. I think, again, had more views than anything Priit's done. Of you using pre-turtle and leg locking people, and then you get seminars on turtle. And you're like, but I don't. I just want to prove a point one day. I thought it'd be funny.
Exactly. I thought it would be funny. I remember that day also. Priit's like, so what's the plan? I'm like, I'm just gonna pull turtle and do some running man, some turtle. And like, yeah, but do we want to win? I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, just tell me when it's almost time. I'll try. I'll figure something out. That's what I said. I'll try to win somehow. But yeah, it wasn't a well thought out plan. I just thought it would be funny. And yeah, now when I get seminars, it's just people wanting turtle, and I say like, I have good leg lock. I can teach you some guard. I can teach you this and that. And I'm like, no, we just want that turtle stuff. And I'm like, I can show you some good leg lock entry. Is it from turtle? And like, no, but it's from this De La Hiva, blah, blah. And they're like, no, not interested. Skip. Show me the turtle stuff.
We're both victims of having almost like a famous song. And then we're both like, yeah, we have other hits. Like, no, you don't. Like, play Final Countdown. But, there's other songs, there's other things I know. No, Running Man. Do it again.
That's exactly what happens, yeah. Yeah, I had like 3 back-to-back seminars in Germany, and I was, every time that people contact me from a seminar, I'm super happy. Yeah, of course, da da da. And then it's like, so yeah, I've been working on this and this, and I can teach you this. I'm like, oh no, we want turtle, and it happened all 3 times, and so I teach turtle. So that's what I do now. I'm the turtle guy. And then when people come to visit from outside of town and they see I do teach it, but they don't see like the whole gym turtling and stuff. They're super surprised. I had a guy from Jakarta visiting, and he's like, after the first 2 classes, he was here in town for like 2 months, so he trained with us. I'm like, so how are you coming along? What do you think? He's like, yeah, I'm confused. I thought it was gonna be turtle all day and all this defensive stuff. And I'm like, oh. People are almost disappointed, you know.
Same, like, people come to Stafford to Fight and Fit, and they expect it again to be like super defensive and lying on the floor, but everyone then just wrestles and leg locks, and I'm like, oh, like, you guys are really like wrestling heavy. Like, no one just lies on the floor. Like, why would we? Why would we do that? Same with like going to Priit's gym, like rolling, because Priit has quite a few black belts, like Magnus, the strongest jawline in Estonia. Like, rolling with, I thought it'd just be like, rolling in Priit's gym for that first time, I expected everyone just to drop to the floor, like it was like gravity just got turned up and they're just all in Running Man. But then you've got like people like Magnus who literally just pulled me open with his chin from Running Man. And I was like, what? You guys can do stuff like this? Like, why can't you just be like Priit and lie down?
Yeah, I remember like when I rolled with people in Estonia, like Audhoe, he wasn't defensive. He was just attacking the whole time. Mm-hmm. And then when Lisi and Vova were there, they don't defend. They just attack you. There's like, and then Tom is like doing crazy well in competition now. Tom Marnum. Yeah. And he just attacks. So it's kind of like funny to see like Priit's the defensive guy, but none of his people are like that defensive.
No, they're not. Which I think that's the wider point to it is. When you have that kind of defense, like, you can't all just play defense. You have to then, but good defense will breed better attack. Like, you know, if you want better leg locks, have good leg lock defense in the gym, because then everyone's going to have to hunt legs better. Yeah. If you want to have better wrestling, have really good takedown defense, because everyone's going to have to get better at doing takedowns. Yeah. And when you have good defense in like the jiu-jitsu defense, everyone has to just get better at hunting. And makes the gym more violent in a way. Yeah,
it's true. It's interesting. I think you got pegged as a defensive guy. Me too, somehow.
I know, hilarious.
But it's not true in a sense, because like I don't roll defensively, I think.
No.
Like but that's the label I got now. So yeah.
Just, again, because I've known you for a few years, and I know from rolling with you that I don't like playing legs with you. I don't like allowing you to enter into legs at all, because I'm not going to get out. Once you get a bite, I'm like, okay, fine.
I used to be really on the leg locks. Yeah, I used to be like a little badger. Yeah.
You're saying you've changed?
Well, we'll roll later.
I was going to say, like, do I there?
Yeah. I think I like to think I have, but then what happens? Like I had developed like this broader game. But then when somebody's good, it just digresses into like what has been. So me hunting legs. But I've actually worked a lot on attacking arms first. And then when that fails, legs. I've been having success with it. Like, it's so funny. I haven't competed in a while. I think May was the last time I competed.
Okay.
And I won, but I didn't. I used 0 leg locks, so it was good.
How did that well go? Did you win? You could say like, oh yeah, I used 0 leg locks in this competition, yeah, but if you lost them all.
No,
like,
I won.
Okay.
I won it was the Belgium ADCC. I won. So yeah, but I didn't use any leg locks. So
Really?
it's good. Yeah.
What did you win with?
Points and arm attacks.
That's even blown my mind, and I know you. You didn't use legs.
Yeah. So I'm pretty happy with that. So it means that slowly under stress I can do it. But if I freak out, I still hunt legs. But if I don't freak out, if I stay calm, then I'm arms first. I've been trying that because I just want to be like the path of least resistance. Like if he's on his knees, great, I can reach his arms. If he's standing, then I guess his legs are like it doesn't make sense to. Like in the past, I've tried to like. Leg lock kneeling opponents, and it's doable, okay, and getting underneath and stuff. But like, why elevate? Why go to the trouble? He's gonna put his hands on you anyway, so might as well work with that. So I'm all about the path of least resistance.
That's fair. So, if you came through an MMA and Shuto and that kind of style, when did you make the transition to 10th Planet and legs? Was it 10th Planet that got you into legs? Or
No. So I was into legs already because before everybody was doing leg locks, the Japanese were already doing leg locks.
Yeah.
So I got from Shuto, that's where I got, I don't know if you know who Abe Ani is, but he's like they have Abe Ani Combat Club. They have a pretty big like catch wrestling gym in Japan. And they came over a few times to teach. When I was training Shuto, and they got me hooked on leg locks.
Oh, right.
And I was doing leg locks then, and then before, then I was training MMA, so Shuto, and then to supplement that, I did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in a gi, and I trained Sambo. Yeah, you didn't know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I trained Sambo, and they were all about leg locks, so that's where my leg lock affinity came from. And then by the time I had finished college. Well, the last year of college, it was like some of us got like this offer to fight in Ireland in a professional organization, and at that time it was good money for somebody my age. And I'm like, shit, should I like put off finishing college and take the fights or not? And then my coach, and at the time, Rafa, Lily said, kid, go to school. This is not for you. And I'm like, okay. So because I had a few fights back then, and but he said that, so that's what I did. I finished college, and then after that, work and life got a bit in the way, so I trained less MMA. But I was doing everything at the time, so that means MMA, a little bit of, like once a week I trained in a gi, but I did a lot of like rolling in my MMA classes, and I did kickboxing. Kickboxing is pretty big in the Netherlands. did kickboxing at a fairly like hardcore gym.
Yeah.
And then I injured my leg with kickboxing, with checking a low kick, and I had like you could say a bone fragment issue in my shin. That deterred me from grappling for a while. So I was actually out for a few years. And then when my leg finally got better, I'm like, I called up my old coach and I'm like, I think I want to start again. So he's like, cool, come in. So I went in, did MMA, and re-injured my leg on the second training. So I was out a few more months, and I'm like, I want to come back again, but maybe no striking, I don't want to injure my shin again. He's like, all right, just come to the grappling classes, and and by the way, there's this 10th Planet that are renting slots from us. Maybe that's something for you, because I was already doing rubber guard before, like long ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I'll try that also. So I tried it. Instructor, I was okay. But unfortunately, like not long after I started training there, that guy had to leave. He got some job doing fight promotions for some promotion, and then he left, and he left it to other people. And then they got busy, and then that didn't work out. And I was just training by myself. And then at a certain point, one of the other people that was training a lot, Imad, they asked him like, we need somebody to take over this branch of this gym. And he's like, I don't know. And he looked at me, he's like, you want to do it? And I'm like, no. He's like, shit, I want to do it on my own. And then I said, all right, I'll do it temporarily. Mm-hmm. I'll help you until everything is set up. And then temporarily turned into many, many years later. And then, at a certain point, I met Priit and started to do less of the typical 10th Planet stuff and more of the defensive stuff. And now I'm doing my own thing. So that's what happened.
If I'm right, did you have to follow a certain methodology and curriculum or like training plan whilst you're part of 10th Planet?
Not all schools do it, and
right.
I can't say it was mandatory. Let me just say it was heavily, how do you say, recommended. Let me put it like this. And that's let me put it like that. And then, at a certain point I was just teaching turtle and stuff and defensive postures, and not so much of the recommended stuff, the heavily recommended stuff. So it became a time that I just had to go do my own thing because I can't. I don't like arbitrary lock flows.
No.
Like you have this thing called the 10P warm-ups. It's like it's good to if you want to train a lock flow, then fine. But it's not logical for you and me to do the same lock flow if we have different body types.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
How do you think your coaching has changed then since, or from your days of like how you came through MMA style grappling and Shuto into 10th Planet and now adding the defensive stuff? How much do you think that's changed how you coach and how do you approach coaching in the gym?
It changed a lot. First of all, quick note, I was so happy when I didn't do MMA anymore. I'm like, now I can do all this spinning on my head shit because I can't get punched in the face. So, so that's why I got heavily into that spinning around stuff and leg lock stuff. And how it's changed. Like back in the day, when I became a coach, it was not it just happened. Like somebody had to take it over and it just happened. And I wasn't a good teacher. Because it was just all, how do I do this? Like, it feels right, and that's when you move left and right. But you can't teach feeling to people. You have to give people like some basic rules and guidelines. And I think meeting Priit and him expressing it in a way that you can easily pass on the information, like how to, like people say keep your elbows close, but like how to tuck your elbows and stuff, and how to tuck your elbows and stuff. That was very very interesting and new for me, and also having an outline of why you fail. Like now I know why I failed. I gave him an underhook. Now I know why I failed. I was flat, I shouldn't have been flat. And like all these things, it really helped me a lot. And now after that, I started teaching less specifics and just teaching people don't be flat. Don't always try to get flank on somebody. It's less than ideal to engage somebody head on.
Yep.
And don't give people underhooks. And that like changing from teaching people 100 gazillion moves to just a few principles made it easy, because how you express those principles, that can vary person to person. So for me, maybe I don't give you underhook, you overextend, and that's a way for me to get underneath you. And for you, you don't give me underhook, I overextend, and then you just bully me and put me on my back. So it can express itself in a different way, but the principle stays the same.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it definitely, like, the buzzword right now is the whole ecological way of training. I'm not a complete subscriber. I think there's definitely a place for detail-oriented technique, but when it comes to some aspects like that, like definitely having the underlying concept and then finding your way, like you'll learn. You'll learn fast.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you noticed a difference in student quality doing it this way?
Yeah, what I noticed is that the beginners are way harder to submit.
Yeah.
That's the prime. It's not like the advanced stuff changes or whatever.
Yeah.
I've just noticed that some beginners are like, when they get in trouble, they just shell up, turtle up, they use the defensive postures, and they're way harder to submit, all to the point that it becomes annoying. And I'm like, dude, I've been training like 2 decades. I should be able to beat your ass quick.
Like, it's made me want to throw in my black belt days. Like, go down to like purple belt, because I feel like a clown. Like trying to beat some people when they're that like new, and I'm like, I should be able just to clown you and just do what the fuck I want, and I can't, and it makes me sad. I feel like
it takes some of the magic away, doesn't it?
it does. Yeah. It's like seeing all the surly, angry fuckers in the background of Disneyland. Like there's someone underneath like the goofy costume, and they're not nice. It's like it does destroy the magic an awful lot. So you have, let's say you've approached training this way, you've approached learning this way, and you've changed up how you teach. Is there any content you have available? Because I think you have been making and recording.
Yeah, I have been making.
Where would folks find your stuff?
Well, blatant plug, folks can find my stuff on grapplinginstructionals.com.
Okay.
Where I do some attacking from turtle instructionals and some guard. Funnily enough, everybody buys the turtle stuff. Nobody
Look at you
buys
leaning
the guard.
in there. Now you know that's what's going to sell, so you're like, fuck it, I'm going to do
fuck
that.
it. Yeah. So if you wanna make a change, buy the guard stuff. Because I have some X-guard material out there, I have some turtle material out there, and I have also on YouTube some free stuff. If you go to the YouTube Whoopass channel, I have some defensive stuff, some leg lock defense stuff, which I'm pretty passionate about teaching, leg lock defense, because I like to create my own problems. I taught people in my gym leg lock defense. Now I can't leg lock people. So
see, it's how you make people better. It's how you get better attack, by making everyone else difficult.
So yeah, they're difficult. So yeah, that's what I have out now. So on YouTube, the Whoopass Camps channel, look it up. There's content of me, content of some of the other coaches that have taught. I think there's a seminar of you as well there.
There's a couple on there, yeah.
And and on grapplinginstructionals.com. And keep an eye on the Whoopass Camp channel, because I'll be posting in end of January. I'll be posting a free 90-minute instructional.
Really? What on?
Yeah.
Or you're not decided yet?
There's actually 2 free 90-minute instructionals coming. So the one is called Just Some Standing Ideas from an Old BJJ Nerd. And then the other one is called Just Some Guard Ideas from an Old BJJ Nerd. So there are 2 topics. I don't know which one's going to release first. Yeah.
You're not that old.
I'm going to be 40 soon, man.
Yeah, okay, that's fucked.
I'm old.
Yeah.
Next
When
year
you first told me how old you were, I was like, I thought you were at least maybe 5 or 6 years younger than I am.
Yeah, I used to move like a young man. So
that's what I mean.
That's what people thought.
Yeah, exactly. When I met you, you said like, yeah, you would have been like my age now when we first met. And I was like, no way. Like, I'm young. Like, I thought at least maybe mid-20s. And
well, black don't crack.
when you're that, like, when you're this old, you shouldn't be able to spin on your head the way you did. And I thought, like, without sounding like a typewriter falling down the stairs, like your back.
I can still, that's something that's really surprises me. Like 4 years back, I said, there's some people in jiu-jitsu I admire because I know 4 years from now they'll still be able to do what they do. Mm-hmm. And 4 years ago, I said, 4 or 5 years from now, I'm not able to do what I do. I can't move that way. Now worsened a little bit, but I can still mostly do what I did, so move in the way I did. So I'm pretty happy. So let's see how long that lasts.
To be fair, like watching Imanari, and like he must be in his 40s now. Do his like again, that's the same idea. Like when you had Imanari here, like couldn't give a shit what else he knows. Like, do it, do the roll,
do the roll. Yes, play Final Countdown.
I couldn't imagine but imagine going to an Imanari seminar. He doesn't show any roll.
You'd be so pissed, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like because you're flying all the way to England to Amsterdam and. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to see him now for the first time. And he does like guillotines. You'd be like, really? Yeah. Like, oh, I'm so disappointed.
Yeah.
Maybe that's our problem. Maybe we have the Raoul turtle and.
Yeah, well, if you put it like that, it's understandable. Like I've been to a Globetrotters camp and some student came up to me. What do you teach him? Like I'm teaching leg lock defense, and you should see like the disappointment on the dude's face.
Are you doing any Globetrotters this year? Are you on the instructor lists?
Next year.
Yeah, 2024.
Yeah, Iceland and I was doing I think Iceland and Heidelberg. Yeah.
Okay, I'll see in Heidelberg.
Yeah.
I think I'm on Parnu and Maine and Heidelberg. Yeah. Spreading the good word to the Americans.
Good.
About standing up and wrestling.
Rattle.
Right, well, I think we've got a seminar approaching in the not too distant future, so this is I hope this fucking works. Imagine this whole conversation just turned out to be nothing. And I had
that
to
would
chuck
suck.
it away.
Imagine you forgot to press the record button.
Oh no, it's
that
recording.
Would suck.
But imagine like it wasn't picking up anything. I'm happy that I'm seeing the waveform. I'm like, okay, something's getting picked up. It was actually just scratching on the mats. Well, I hope this works because if this works, it means I can travel and interview people.
It's
good.
Amazing.
Amazing. If these mics are good, I like these mics. But this was Villiancast. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Check out Whoopass Camps and everything Raoul does.
Yeah. Check out Whoopass Camps, and if you're ever in Amsterdam, come to Tribe Grappling.
Tribe Grappling, yes. I put all the links on the. If you're on Spotify or anything like that, go on YouTube because I can put links on there and check out all Raoul's stuff. But this has been Villiancast.